हरे राम हरे हरे। नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नष्टके। So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 18. Chapter is entitled Prithu Maharaj Milks the Earth Planet. Text number 30 to 32. So 32 is on the board, so I'll go through text 30 and 31st, then we'll read together 32. Text 30. Athasmin Bhagavan Vanya Projanam Vrittita Pita Nivasan Kalpayam Chakre Tatra Tatra Jatharhataha. Translation. To all the citizens of the state, King Prithu was as good as a father. Thus he was visibly engaged in giving them proper subsistence and proper employment for subsistence. After leveling the surface of the globe, he earmarked different places for residential quarters in as much they were desirable. Text 31. Graman pura pattanani durgani vividhani cha ghosam brojan sasi viran akoran khetra kharbatan. Translation. In this way, the king founded many types of villages, settlements and towns and built forts, residences for cowherdsmen, stables for the animals and places for the royal camps, mining places, agricultural towns and mountain villages. Now we'll read together text 32 which is on the board. Prak prithar iha noi vaisa puro gramadi kalpana jatha sukham vasanti sma tatra tatra kuto bhaya. Prak prithar iha noi vaisa puro gramadi kalpana jatha sukham vasanti sma tatra tatra kuto bhaya. Prak prithariha naivaisa puro gramadi kalpana jatha sukham vasanti sma tatra tatra kuto bhaya. Prak, before. Pritaha, King Prithu. Iha, on this planet. Na, never. Eva, certainly. Esha, this. Pura, of towns. Gramadi, of villages, etc. Kalpana, planned arrangement. Yatha, as. Sukham, convenient. Basantisma, lived. Tatra tatra, here and there. Akutabhaya, without hesitation. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Before the reign of King Prithu, there was no planned arrangement for different cities, villages, pasturing grounds, etc. Everything was scattered, and everyone constructed his residential quarters according to his own convenience. However, since King Prithu plans were made for towns and villages. Please repeat. Before the reign of King Prithu, there was no planned arrangement for different cities, villages, pasturing grounds, etc. Everything was scattered, and everyone constructed his residential quarters according to his own convenience. However, since King Prithu, plans were made for towns and villages. Purport. From this statement, it appears that town and city planning is not new, but has been coming down since the time of King Prithu. In India, we can see regular planning methods evident in very old cities. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there are many descriptions of such ancient cities. Even 5,000 years ago, Lord Krishna's capital, Dwaraka, was well planned, and similar other cities, Mathura and Hastinapur, now New Delhi, were also well planned. Thus, the planning of cities and towns is not a modern innovation, but was existing in bygone ages. Thus, in the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 4th canto, 18th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Prithu Maharaj Milks the Earth Planet. Mukam karati bachalam panghur langhaite giring jat kripa tamaham bande Sri Gurudinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyeshwaram. So we are finishing the chapter 18 today, and chapter is entitled Prithu Maharaj Milks the Earth Planet. So in this chapter, especially today's verses, explain the quality of Prithu Maharaj as a king. In the text 30, it was explained that King Prithu was as good as a father. So this is the duty of a king, to give protection to all the citizens. That is very, very important. And it is explained, the life of a king is meant for the service of others. But nowadays, the position of the king is not considered like that. And that's why we are seeing the condition of the modern world. It is said, if the kings live simply, then the citizens will live opulently. And if the kings live very opulently, then the citizens' situations are very miserable. And that's happening in the modern governmental system. I don't know I said this story here or not. It's a disclaimer clause at the beginning. It's not mentioned to any individual. So I was hearing a story of the modern political situation. So one man wanted to take part in the election. So he came to his area to ask for vote. Generally in India it happens. Generally in the West it doesn't happen like that. But in India campaigning is very important. Nowadays it's slowing down, but still things are happening like that. So he came and he asked for the vote. Please give your vote in my favor, and whatever you want, I will fulfill after I am elected. So election was over and he was elected. So then 5 years he was not visible in that area anymore. So then before the next election he came again for the same reason, for the vote. And the people have become very angry. Oh, last time you came for vote, you told that you will fulfill all our ideas, but you never turned up for one time. He said, please forgive me, I was so busy. So this time definitely I'll do your things. Please elect me again. So somehow or other, the people again voted in his favor, and he was elected again. Then after he is elected again, not visible for 5 years. So then again before the election he came. Then this time people are furious. They wanted to beat him up. And he said, you have the full right to be angry with me, but I want to disclose something to you. Then you take decision. He said, okay. He said, when I was elected for the first time, I had the full desire to do everything for you. But I thought, if I am not elected next time, what will happen to my life? So I thought I should take care of myself for 5 years. So I took care of myself in 5 years. Then second time I came, I wanted to do something for you because I took care of myself. But what happened, after I got elected, my relatives became very upset. He said, you did so many things for you, but you have not done anything for us. So next 5 years, I have done everything for my relatives. So now you tell me, what else I have? I have done for myself, and I have done for all my family members and relatives. Then who else are there? Only you. So definitely this time I will do something for you. Please believe me. And he said, if you don't elect me this time, and if you elect somebody else, then you have to wait another 10 years. So this is the situation of the modern political system. People are very selfish. जय श्री राधा पार्थ सारथी की, ललिता विशाखा जी की, श्री गौर निताय की, सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की जय. So I like to share one more story. Very interesting this one. So generally, political friendship is there. Political leaders also have friends. So there was an Indian political leader and someone from Europe. I don't want to mention the name of the country. So they are close friends. So Indian political leader went to see him in his country, what he has done. So he went to that country, and that friend was showing him what he has done. Then he came to a place and he showed a bridge, and the bridge was half built. And the Indian political leader said, why it is half built? He said, what to do? Money was finished. He said, why? He said, I took half of the money. So then that political leader came from Europe to India to see what he has done, his friend has done. So he was saying different things, and he took him near a river. He said, "Can you see that bridge?" He said, "No bridge." He said, "You took half, I took full." So that is the situation in the modern political system. Because the whole concept of king is lost. Prabhupada explains there is no difference between a king and a sannyasi. And according to that, King Ramachandra and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is no difference. Same purpose. The purpose of a leader is to give. His life should be meant for the service of others. And that is reflected in the character of Prithu Maharaj. So why Lord Ramachandra is glorified? Because he never considered his own personal life as a very important thing. His life was completely dedicated for others. And that is the symptom of a king. That is the symptom of a leader. And that is the divine quality. So divine and demoniac qualities are there in the character of a human being. So in Satya Yuga, the demigods and demons used to reside in different planets. And everybody could recognize who is a devotee, who is a demigod, or who is a demon. But in Treta Yuga, they used to stay the same planet but different country. Ramachandra and his followers used to stay in Ayodhya, and Ravana stayed in Lanka. In Dwapar Yuga, they became more close. They started staying in the same country, in the same family, Kauravas and Pandavas. But in Kali Yuga, they became more close, very close association. And they stay in the same body. And that is the problem. Very difficult to understand who is a demigod, who is a demon. So while Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to kill Jagai and Madhai, Nityananda Prabhu stopped him. He said, in this age of Kali, you cannot kill Jagai and Madhai. If you kill Jagai and Madhai, then you have to kill everyone. Because demoniac nature is there in the character of every living entity in Kali Yuga. Because they stay in the same body. So therefore, there is always fight. There is always fight between divine and demoniac. Sometimes demoniac nature wins, sometimes divine nature wins. We also see in the story of Srimad Bhagavatam, sometimes demigods win, sometimes demons win. And many cases, majority cases, demons win. We think, how come? If the demigods are better qualified people, then why they lose? But it is all governed by the modes of nature. When mode of passion is very strong, is very prominent in this planet, that time demons win. When mode of goodness is very prominent in this world, demigods win. So what is the duty of a king? Duty of a king is to establish mode of goodness in this planet. That's why Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya cha duskritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami juge juge. So Krishna comes to annihilate the demons and protect the pious and to establish the principle of religion. And why? What is the meaning of establishing religion? Establishing religion means to establish mode of goodness in this planet. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, you cannot understand the transcendental nature of the spiritual world unless we situate ourselves in the mode of goodness. And mode of goodness means you develop the character based on giving. That is very, very important. So once the devatas, the demigods and Danavas, the demons, they went to Lord Brahma with a question, who is greater? demigods or demons? So, demigods and demons, Brahma knows demigods are better. But Brahma is also fearful about the demons. So he said, okay, I will give you the answer, but before I give you the answer, better have lunch. We have lunch, then after lunch we'll discuss. So, huge, because number of demigods and number of demons are very big. And Brahma has a prasadam hall which can fit only either demigods or demons. So who will eat first? The demoniac tendency is that I want to eat first. So demon said, we will eat first. He said, okay. So demigods are very fearful. Okay, you eat first. So Brahma said, I have a system how to eat in my abode. So what is that? He said, before we start eating, I will hold your hand with a stick. Okay, like this. So demons thought, if he holds our hand like that, then how will eat? They are in anxiety. But what to do? This is the arrangement in Brahmaloka. So they all sat and their hands were tied with the stick. Then Brahma said, okay, now we can take prasad. How they eat? They are taking like this and putting, they cannot fold. So the prasadam is falling all over the body. And they could not take prasad properly. And outside, the demigods are watching and laughing. And the demons become very angry. Then their prasadam is over. Then demons, they said, Brahmaji, the same system should be also for the demigods. Said, okay, this is a system here. With the demigods, demons, no problems, equal. Equal system. Said, okay. All the demigods sat, and their hands also are tied with the stick. And all the demons are waiting to make fun. But what they did, because they are demigods, no more intelligent, sattvic, they are in mode of goodness. So they arranged tables, and they sat in chairs, and one demigod is taking food from his plate and feeding the other demigod, and other demigod is taking food from his own plate and feeding other demigod, like that. And demons say, oh, what intelligence. But that culture is always with us. We always think how our hand will come this side, right? We don't like to give. We don't like to give. What we want to do? We want to take. Because we have a very strong impression in our mind that by taking we can become happy. And that is demoniac quality. And because Kali Yuga people are influenced by this demoniac quality, so that quality is also prevailing in the leaders. Right or wrong? So another problem is that generally the king were selected by the Brahmanas. That is very, very important. If lower people start selecting, that is called democracy, no? And there is a flaw in that. I was hearing an example from Bhakti Charu Maharaj. He was telling, not to undermine any process of government, just telling the reality. If you are traveling in a plane and somehow or other the pilot is sick, so who will drive the plane? And all the passengers, they believe in democracy, democratic people. He said, we'll elect someone from us by voting. We'll have a voting. Who will be the pilot? So they did voting, and one person was elected as the pilot of the car, pilot of the plane. If that person drives the plane, what will happen? So that is the flaw in election. Who elects, they should be qualified to know who can run, That is the difficulty we face in the modern society. In Kali Yuga, everybody is Sudra according to the Shastra. Kala Sudra Sambhava. So therefore, in order to have a nice government, nice king, we should be electing those who are qualified. So King Prithu was a qualified king. And what he did, he took care of the citizen of his country like a father. And that is the quality of a leader. Leaders should take care. What are the areas he should take care? Primarily the spiritual upliftment. That is most important. Nowadays, to run a state, run a country, what to talk about run a country, run a state, to run a family is difficult. Right or wrong? Those who run family, ask them what difficult situation they are in. To manage a family is very, very difficult. But King Prithu was not the king of India. Maharaj Parikshit, Ambarish Maharaj, they are not the king of this India only, our India now. They used to run the whole earthly planet. How they do? Vishnu is managing the whole universe. Karanadakshay Vishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Kshirodakshay Vishnu. They are managing the universe, and what they are doing? When we manage the festival time, Janmashtami means temple president problem that he cannot sleep. Very difficult. Gita Marathon, no sleep. Sleepless. Any anxiety of management comes, we cannot sleep. That is the situation of the conditioned soul. But when Vishnu manages, he sleeps. All three Vishnus are lying down and sleeping. And everything is managed so properly. And if you see the life of Yudhishthir Maharaj, if you see the life of Dhruva Maharaj, if you see the life of Prahlad Maharaj, if you see the life of Prithu Maharaj, they are not so busy. Oh, I am so busy. You cannot manage. How they are managing? They are only following the instruction of the Brahmanas. That's the way they are managing. They are completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness. They are completely absorbed in chanting and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. They are so absorbed in hearing the scriptures. They are so absorbed in organizing the fire sacrifices. All these activities they are busy with. And everything was managed so nicely. If the consciousness of the citizen are in mode of goodness, there are very few things you have to manage. There is nothing to manage. So that is the secret of successful management. That is called spiritual management. And therefore, starting from Vishnu and his representative, the kings, used to manage the earthly planet like that. Therefore, everybody was so happy. Everybody was so happy. So opulent. And they have nothing to complain. Why? Because they are so happy. Individually, the citizen was happy. Collectively, all the citizens were happy. So therefore, there is no complaint. But nowadays, management means complaint. Right or wrong? So I will tell you one story of Dasarath Maharaj. And there is a difference between Dasarath Maharaj and Ramchandra. Maharaj Dasarath was a very wonderful king. But we hear that Dasarath has had more than one wife. How many wives Dasarath had? 3. Okay. Many? How many? You are from land of Ram nearby. How many wives Lord Ramchandra had? 1. He is telling 3. How many? He had 350 wives. According to Purana, 350 wives. And there is a reason behind that. What is the reason? That time, Parshuram was there. And Parshuram used to kill the Kshatriyas. That was his mission. And he didn't want to kill someone, that king who is marrying. In the marriage ceremony, Parshuram will not kill that king. So Dasharatha Maharaj imbibed that, he took that thing very seriously. And whenever Parshuram used to come to Ayodhya, he used to marry. So therefore, he had so many wives. So although he was a wonderful king, but having so many wives was not a good example. So Bharat was not there in Ayodhya, and Dasharatha Maharaj thought that Ram should become the king. So he thought he'll talk to his personal associates to check whether it's a good idea or bad idea. Maybe they will not like the idea, maybe Ram is too young. Then when Dasharatha Maharaj introduced himself that he wants to retire and Ramchandra will become the king, and they said, very good idea, immediately it should be done. So Dasharatha Maharaj thought, maybe I was not a good king. Because when you are not a good manager, if he goes, okay, thank you so much. But if you are a good manager or a good king, they will feel so bad if you leave. It doesn't mean Dasharatha Maharaj was not a good king, but Ramchandra was much better. He is the best king on this planet. So that's why we should analyze why Ramchandra was accepted like that. And when Ramchandra left Ayodhya and went to the forest, each and every citizen followed him. That is the symptom of a good king. Nowadays, even if you throw the king, they will not go. Right? They want to stick to their throne. But Ramchandra was very detached. So one of the quality of a king, good king, is that he doesn't want to become a king. If someone wants to become a king, means he is dangerous. Because to fulfill the role of a king is very burdensome. It's too much of a burden if you really want to become a good king. The position of a king is not a privilege, it's a burden. So Lord Ramchandra, he didn't want to become a king. King Dasharatha, his father wanted him to be a king. But when Kaikeyi plotted with Manthara, and as soon as Ramchandra was instructed that he has to go to the forest, immediately he left. He never argued for a moment. Immediately he left the kingdom. Because for him, staying in the kingdom or staying in the forest is the same. That is the quality of a king. That's why Prabhupada or somewhere I heard that a king or a sannyasi is the same. A king stays in the kingdom, a sannyasi stays in the forest. Ramchandra did the both. That's why he is an ideal king. So in the modern society, how we can relate? What we should do? We should try to imbibe the qualities of these great personalities. And if we can apply those qualities in our life, then our life will become successful. So, first, in order to become a leader, you have to be a follower. If you don't have a leader in your life, then you cannot become a good leader. And that is the system of Guru Parampara also. In order to become a guru, you have to be a disciple. A perfect disciple can become a perfect guru. So in order to become a perfect leader, we have to become a perfect follower. So see the life of Kholabecha Sridhar. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was giving benediction to every of his associate in Srivasangan. Then he told someone, please bring Kolavecha Sridhar. And nobody knew who is Kolavecha Sridhar. Who is Sridhar? Nobody knew. Then Mahaprabhu told him, go there, at the end of the village, someone is chanting the holy name in a straw house. That is Kolavecha Sridhar. So Kolavecha Sridhar was a businessman. What kind of businessman? His main business was to sell products related to banana. Banana leaf, banana stem, banana flower, or whatever is related to banana, he used to sell. According to Chaitanya Bhagavat, during that time, every house in Navadvip had banana tree. So by that you can understand the demand of the product in the market. That was Kolavecha Sridhar business policy. Then he had a fixed price, very nominal profit. And 50% of the profit he used to spend for Ganga Puja. So then Kolavecha Sridhar was called by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to establish the glories of Kolavecha Sridhar. So Mahaprabhu said, Sridhar, I want to give you something today. What do you want? I can make you the king of the heaven. I can give you mystic siddhi. I want to make you the king of this planet. Whatever you want, I will give you. Then Kolavecha Sridhar said, Mahaprabhu, don't try to allure me like that. I don't want all these things. He said, no, Sridhar, you have to accept something from me. Then Kolavecha Sridhar said, if you really want to give me something, please give this benediction. That beautiful Nimai who comes to my shop every day and snatches my banana products and bargains with me about the price and he leaves the place without paying anything, that beautiful form of Nimai becomes the worshipable object of me life after life. So then you can feel, oh, Sridhar was not so intelligent. He's a very unintelligent person. Even some other people say Mahaprabhu has prayed, na dhanang, na janang, na sundaring kavitang bhajagadisa kamaye, mama janmani janmanishare bhavatat bhakti rahoito kitai. So generally when you go to God, we ask something for ourselves. But Mahaprabhu is teaching us the process of selfless, pure devotional service. But people think it's not a good idea, it's not an intelligent idea. But if you can understand properly, then they are the most intelligent people. So 3 friends came to a king, because today is King's Day. So you have to tell all the story about the king. So 3 friends came to a king. So first friend approached the king. The king said, what do you want? He said, my dear king, my house is in a very bad condition. Build a beautiful house for me. So king called the minister. He said, his house is not good. Please build a nice house for him. So minister said, okay. Then the second friend approached. He said, king asked, what do you want? Then second friend said, my house is okay, but my road, access road to my village is not so good. Make a nice road. He said, okay. So he called the minister. He said, fix the road to go to his house. It's all done. Then third friend was called. King said, what do you want? He said, I don't want anything from you. He said, no, you have come. You have to ask something. He said, if you really want to give something, please come and stay one day in my house. So other 2 friends thought he's a fool, number 1. So, but he was the most intelligent man. Then king called the minister. He said that this man has invited me to stay in his house for one day. Make all the arrangements. So now king will stay. So where will stay? So he'll stay in the palace. So minister went to check what kind of house he has. Not good house. So he had to build a beautiful palace for the king. So king will go on a road. It's called Rajpath. No? We have to make a royal road to that house. So the minister built a royal road. Then now he has to be, then the king will move around. The whole locality was developed. That is called intelligence. So that's why Mahaprabhu's followers, they are telling, my dear Lord, we don't want anything from you. No dhanang, no janang, no sundaring. People will think he is a full number one. What you want? Only your lotus feet. So people think, what is there in this lotus feet? Because they know Brahma is praying. Chinta mani prakara sadmasu kalpa vriksha laksha viteshi surabhi ravi palayantam lakshmi sahasra satasambrama sevvamanam govindam adi purusam tamaham bhajami. So people are fond of worshipping Lakshmi Devi, no? If Lakshmi is santushtam, everything is very nice. So people are really worshipping Lakshmi Ji. But our Mahaprabhu's teachings don't worship Lakshmi, worship Govinda. Govinda's lotus feet. But what is the glory of Govinda's lotus feet? That lotus feet to worship the Lakshmi. How many Lakshmi? Sata Sahasra. Millions of Lakshmi Jis are in line. So I used to think in ISKCON, everywhere line. Charanamrita line, taking mercy line, prasadam line. I thought, what kind of society is this? Everywhere line. Then when I read this, Chintamani, so it's line in the spiritual world also. So it's a big line. So try to practice here, otherwise you will not be fitting there in the spiritual world. So this is also part of sadhana bhakti. Try to tolerate to stand in the line. If you don't practice that, you will not be allowed in the spiritual world. You will be out. So this is called intelligence. That what we want. If we want the lotus feet of Krishna, then everything will be achieved. But why we want anything or other than Krishna? Because we don't have the ownership over Krishna. We are envious of Krishna. We are separated from Krishna. And that is the root cause of envy. Why we envy others? Because we envy Krishna. Why we envy Krishna? Because Krishna, we feel, I am separate, Krishna is separate. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita it is explained that envy for Krishna or envy for every living entity will quickly disappear if we establish one thing in our life. Krishna, you are mine. If that is established in our life, if Krishna is mine, everything belongs to Krishna, then everything belongs to who? पिता का संपत्ति किसका होता है? पुत्र का होता है. So if everything belongs to Krishna, if Krishna belongs to me, then everything belongs to me. That is called real intelligence. So therefore, the pure devotees of Krishna, they don't want anything else other than Krishna. And when we own Krishna, that Krishna is mine, there is nothing to gain from this material world. And that is the secret of success in advancement in Krishna consciousness. And I was hearing a lecture, and it's a very nice statement. So we are trying to accumulate wealth. In this world, everybody is trying to accumulate. Accumulate money in the bank, right? Accumulate cars, accumulate houses. And people are mad. I know a man, he has a house in London. In his house, I think 100 bedroom. So how many bedrooms you need? So you sleep only 6-7 hours, hopefully 8 hours, maybe 10 hours. So you sleep at 10 o'clock in one room, then 10:30 go to another room, 11 o'clock another room. Even if you do that, how many rooms you need? But this is called mind. 100 bedrooms. Accumulation, accumulate. And people are mad for that. For me, for my next generation, 21st generation, 100 generations, what will happen to him, he doesn't worry. But what will happen after 100 generation? Accumulation. So this kind of accumulation is not the real wealth. Because when you die, you cannot carry anything. You like to hear one story about the king, another king? So there is a king, he has a pious king. And everything was very pious in his kingdom. Everybody was happy. So one day one sadhu came, and this sadhus always tell something very controversial. So he came and told the king, there is a bad news for you. So bad news? What is the bad news? In my kingdom everything is good news. What is the bad news? He said, the bad news is that you are going to die very soon. So generally people forget to die when they are in a good condition. But when someone is suffering, they always remember death. I was giving a lecture in Australia. I was telling that in Kali Yuga, one of the bad quality is that we have a short life. And he said, Prabhuji, is a very good quality. Because in Kali Yuga, to live a long life is very, very difficult. 100 years is very difficult. So if you say that I have to live 100,000 years, suicide rate will be much higher. It's very difficult to live. So this king, when he heard that he has to die, he became very sad. And seeing the sad face, the sadhu said, okay, because you are a very pious king, after you die, you go to the heavenly planet. Then he again smiled, oh, good news, at least I go to the heavenly planet. Then sadhu said, although you go to the heavenly planet, there is a problem in the heavenly planet. What is that problem? In the heavenly planet, there are a lot of mosquitoes. I said, really? I thought mosquitoes only here. In the heavenly planet, there is also mosquito. I said, yes. So what to do? I said, don't worry. So there is a mosquito net available in the heavenly planet. He said, no problem. I also use mosquito net here. I will also use mosquito net there. Then sadhu said, still there is a problem. What's the problem? There are a lot of holes in the mosquito net. Then king again became sad. Then what to do? He said, why you are worrying so much? You take a needle and thread and just stitch those holes. So king said, okay, very good news, no problem. Then when he became happy, then sadhu said, another problem. He said, what is the problem? The needle and thread is not available in the heavenly planet. And what to do? Then king said, solution is very simple. When you go to the heavenly planet, take a needle and thread with you and fix the problem there. What's the problem? So king said, no problem. By telling that, sadhu left. When sadhu left, then king started realizing, sadhu told me to take one needle and thread, but I cannot take anything. Then he called that sadhu again. He said, my dear Swamiji, so you are misguiding me. You are supposed to guide me properly. You are telling me that I can take needle and thread, but I cannot take anything. Then sadhu said, oh, really? I thought you have so many things. You cannot carry one needle and thread. He said, no, I cannot carry anything. He said, then why you are wasting your time to accumulate that kind of wealth which you cannot carry? You cannot carry even a needle and thread, but you are spending all of your time to accumulate that wealth. Is that intelligence? So therefore, I want to make that statement I heard. He said, what is the real wealth? Real wealth is that wealth which cannot be bought by money. That is the wealth. But we are accumulating wealth in this world which can be bought by money. And whatever you can accumulate by money, you cannot carry. That is the sad part. And people become very sad. But whatever you do, you cannot carry any wealth which you accumulate by spending money. So, that the spiritual qualities, the virtues, that cannot be bought by money. The love for Krishna cannot be bought by money. That is the real wealth. So human form of life is meant to accumulate that kind of wealth. And this is the duty of a king, to make sure that the citizens of that country under him are accumulating that wealth. And that is the duty of a leader, to make sure that their followers are accumulating that wealth which they can carry. This is called the values. And those values are totally disappearing in this modern society. In the modern society, focus is only accumulating money. And that's why whole society is in a bad shape. And everybody is thinking how to accumulate. They don't want to give. I tell you one small story that how the quality has gone down. In Vedic system, in Satyayuga, everybody was a Brahmana. And nobody had bank account. And nowadays, everybody has a bank account, right? So then, as time progressed further, then people started accumulating. People started holding back. And what they started doing, they started throwing the money in the sky. And they used to draw a circle. And whatever falls inside the circle, and they said, my dear God, that is for you. And whatever falls outside of the circle is for me. So quality has gone down. Then as time progressed further, the circle has become straight line. So now people started throwing money. Whatever falls on the right hand side is for God. Whatever falls on the left hand side is for me. Now, people are more advanced and very intelligent. What they are doing now, they are throwing money in the sky and telling God, my dear God, whatever you catch is yours. And whatever falls on the ground is for me. So that is the quality of Kali Yuga people. They want to accumulate. They don't want to give. Why? Because that is the symptom of Kali Yuga. Because they have a concept, by accumulation people will become happy. By accumulation you don't become happy, you become frustrated. That's why more you accumulate, more you become frustrated. More you give, more you accumulate the real wealth, the virtues, the love for Krishna. And that is the success of human form of life. And it is the duty of a king and it is the duty of a leader to make sure that people under him are accumulating that kind of wealth and making their human form of life successful. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Today is also the appearance day of Bhakteshwar Pandit. Wait for 2-3 minutes. I'll read out. Once in the house of Srivas Thakur, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sang while Bhakteshwar Pandit danced in constant ecstasy for 72 hours. At that time, Lord Chaitanya said, Bhakteshwar, I have only one wing like you, but if I had another, certainly I could fly in the sky. So Bhakteshwar Pandit used to sing constantly, continuously for 72 hours, 3 days. Expert at singing and dancing, Bhakteshwar Pandit always pleased Lord Chaitanya with his service in Navadvip Sankirtan parties. Also at Ratha Yatra festival in Jagannath Puri. And Bhakteshwar Pandit was also very close associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Devananda Pandit committed offense to Srivas Thakur, and Mahaprabhu forgave Devananda Pandit because Devananda Pandit helped Bhakteshwar Pandit to dance in Navadvip Dham. So that is also the glory of Vaishnav Seva. And according to Gaur Ganodesh Deepika, Bhakteshwar Pandit is Aniruddha of Chaturbhuha, but there is another opinion that Bhakteshwar Pandit is Tungavidya Sakhi from Krishna's pastime. So Bhakteshwar Pandit ki, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki, Gaur Premanande. Any question? The time is up. टाइम अप हो गया. Hopefully no question you have. If you have any question, you can ask me personally. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.